The New York Times climate reporter tweeted last year, "The irony is rich, as U.S. abandons leadership on climate change policy has now gone to the developing countries, China among them. In a sense, these liberals were right. China is leading the world in growth of greenhouse gas emissions. Global emissions are estimated to grow by 2.7% from 2017 to 2018. The United States is seeing an increase but below that global average. China, meanwhile, is increasing its emissions by 4.7%. In sheer volume of greenhouse gases, China has the largest increase. Half of the world's 10 billion ton increase in greenhouse gas emissions this year will come from China. All this growth despite China's command economy, its Green Five-Year plans, and its much-vaunted leadership on the issue. One main reason, China is rapidly ramping up its burning of coal. A report this fall found that China is bringing on a fleet of new coal-fired plants equal in output to every coal-fired plant in the U.S. Leadership, indeed. We point out China's role in greenhouse gas growth not merely to poke fun at the confident and gullible pronouncements of the folks at the UN and the New York Times. China's fierce expansion of coal use and hypocrisy on emissions is the same story we've seen for years, and it's always sat at the heart of conservative objections to liberals' climate control plans. If the U.S. implements climate regulations that add to the cost of manufacturing, that will simply drive business overseas to places like China that will have no concern about greenhouse emissions and will certainly have inferior controls on pollution. This doesn't help the planet, it clearly harms it. Liberals have frantically looked for evidence that this time China is serious about curbing emissions. China's government is happy to talk this talk, and liberals, with their outsized trust in the efficacy of central planning, buy the tales. Republicans were wrong about China's climate commitment, environmentalist website Grist wrote in 2014. Later that year, the headline was, "China just got serious about global warming." Now we're really out of excuses. China still promises it is getting serious about global warming, and yet, they still build massive new coal-fired plants. The worry, especially these days, isn't simply that China will happily take our business. It's that when China gobbles up manufacturing fleeing the countries with serious climate controls, this becomes a geopolitical weapon. Increasingly, China is using industry as a weapon to gain control over its portion of the globe, as well as Africa and even South America. If the West disarms in the name of climate, China will march on, powered by its coal.